speak about Bush used to use very much.
Recording in progress.
Bush used to use very much the Mama Chazal Ma'ani Boya, because both he tells the Klal just like I'm a creator. Af Atu Boya. I want you also to be a creator. So Bush uses it very much. Every time another, I'm going to try to explain it today. He's a creator. He created from Ayin, from nothing to a Yesh, to something. What creation can we do? We cannot create the same creation that he created. But from Ayin he made a Yesh. Ayin doesn't mean nothing, Ayin means Ein Sof. But he created from a infinite, we'll call it finite. We're not infinite, we cannot, all we can create is really a finite from a finite, not an infinite from a finite. So that's to be the Koteretem. I hope if I forget to answer the questions, you write down the question, be able to remind you what I have to have the Yomi is sitting with us. Hope some other people will come. There's an interesting there's an interesting Sfasemis in Ba'aloischu that brings a Moshe She'oma Melech, the king told for his good friend, tomorrow I want to come and eat by you. So he was all excited, just you saw before, the table was prepared for a big guest came. And he prepared his table. In the meantime, he looked out of the window, he saw as the king is coming, and he came with all his chandeliers, all his malchus nice the Pamalia. He brought along his big chairs and the big
all the furniture
and all of that. He was so, and his porcelain, his china. And, what did I have? What does this plain this plain person have at his home? So he's so ashamed that he prepared very plain chairs and plain plates, and so he took everything off the table, hid it, and gave an empty room. So they should come in and put whatever they want. And the Medrash says, when the Melech came in, he saw an empty room. He said, why is that room empty? I told you to prepare for me tonight. I want to come and eat by you. So why is it empty? He said, I prepared. I saw outside you're coming with all the furniture that you need, everything that you need. I was ashamed. I prepared with plain dishes and plain everything. So the Melech said, what? Because of me, you have to hide your dishes. You know what? I'm going to hide my dishes, my whole golden things, and put it aside. I'm going to eat only from you. That's what the Medrash brings down. So the Sfasemis come out every year. And the Sefer Sfasemis al-Baloischke is another way how to attack what happened here. So first we have to understand, if it's mashma that be'emes, the right way is that you prepare what you can, and the Melech knows, the king knows that you cannot prepare what he needs, and even if you see the king will come tomorrow with all his dishes, whatever he wants, so you give him over the house, you show him what you prepared, and if you want to make changes, it's your house. But once I was ashamed, and I put away my dishes, then the Melech had to hide his too. So why should the king suffer? The king didn't come here to suffer because of you. He came just to add you the honor that he's going to eat by you, that he can bring along whatever he wants. That's from one side. The other side, if I'll come up to your home and I'll buy downstairs in the corner a sandwich, come into your house and eat a sandwich, your mother's going to throw me out of the house. What, you coming to eat sandwiches in my house, but there's no food in my house? So that's also something that a person gets upset. So what do we have to learn from this whole thing? The Buddha taught us, what does Bora mean? We say by davening, we say Yoitze Ora, Yivoirei Choshech, Oise Shulam, Yivoirei Hakar. So where does this is a pusik that comes from Yeshaya, that the Amshech Nes HaGdoila put into davening. There it says Yoitze Ora, because Baruch created light, Boyer Choshech, he created darkness. Oise Shulam, Yivoirei Ra. So why do they say Yivoirei Hakar? So it says they changed it because the Pusik says Ra, but as we know, Chazal calls a blind person, Chazal calls him a Sagi Nahor. He has a lot of light. But it's called illusion that instead of saying bad things, we say good things, what we mean. So that's the reason why you say Boyer HaKoil. That's why they change. Number two, even the Pusik itself, there's a problem. We know that the order of the creation starts with Atzilut, then it goes Bria, then it goes Yetzirah, then it goes, we're in Olam Asiyah. That means what is higher? Bria is higher than Yetzirah. It says Boirei Choshech, Yoitzer Ora Boirei Choshech. If we say Boirei is higher, it should be Boirei Ora Yoitzer Choshech. In the meantime, it says just the opposite. It says Yoitzer Ora Boirei Choshech. Comes along the Ari, the Sofer, then explains that actually we'll go all the way back before the creation, before the Bria, that God created the world. What was then, as we said before, was infinite. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from an infinite, made a finite. But in order to make from an infinite light a finite light, there has to be a separation. Because anything that touches that infinite becomes infinite. The infinite cannot make a finite as long as it can make a finite, but he has to make a certain separation, boundaries, that the finite shouldn't turn back into infinite, it should stay here. So the first creation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought is called in Kabbalah Chalal Panui, an empty space, which is called a dark space. And in that dark space, it's not that it's dark, that is the hiding that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was hiding his Ein Sof in such a way that I should be able to make a new light, but that new light that I'm making is such a strong light that the light that was there,
the infinite light
couldn't create a finite light. So in order to make a creation, we had to make first a dark spot. That's called Bore Choshech. Because Baruch Hu created darkness, and then Yoitze, the next stage was Or, and we found that in the Pusik too.
So what is the finite light?
Finite is Gubal.
Yeah, but what is the finite light?
The light that we see today, it's not an infinite light.
Oh.
The light, and not only it's not infinite light, the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created in the first day was more infinite than the light that we have here. That means every every source is an infinite to the light that we have. That means just like a father and a son, a Rebbe and a Talmud. The Talmud, the student, is finite, but the Rebbe that's teaching him, if you compare him to the student, he's infinite, right? But he's not infinite in the word infinite. He's infinite if parallel to the student, compared to the student. That means the bunch when we say he's infinite, and we're finite, it's not compared to us. The bunch is really infinite, and we are not, we cannot even compare it. We cannot even value it. It's not even garg achol. But we always have to know that the light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us now, that is not the infinite light. That is light that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you, that you should be able to, there should be a creation. The creation is to see the light, and from that light, I should be able to see his light. So where can I meet my light with the Rebbe Sham's light? Where can I meet myself with the creation, with the Rebbe Shem, we call it? So what's in the middle? The Choshech. That Choshech that's in the middle, the darkness, says, Breishis Bura Lekim, Es HaShamayim, Ves Uretz. The first thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, what did he create? V'uretz Hoisu Toi V'voi V'choshech. The Choshech, that's the first creation. And in that creation is Choshech. It's Tohu V'vo. But not that it's Tohu V'vo, that it's such, behind that Tohu V'vo is such a big light that we had to put some kind of separation, a mechitza, to separate between the infinite light and the finite light. So it goes first Ein Sof, infinite, then comes the Choshech, and then comes our light. So it first starts off Ein Sof, then Buru Choshech, and after that Yoitze Or.
But still, why is it separate? Other way around,
So what is higher, the Choshech or the Or? The first creation was the darkness. The second creation was the new light, the finite light.
The finite light.
Why didn't he make first the light and then the darkness? Because the first light would go back to the infinite light, and then we wouldn't be able to see the light.
Oh, we wouldn't be able to attach.
On purpose, made the first bria choshech, made darkness, and from that darkness, vayomer Elikim, yehi or. What does Elikim mean? Elikim is teva. We all know Elikim is Begematria 86. Ha teva is also 86. And yes, Elikim with a key for the word is more, huh? Elikim we write with a high. Aleph, Lamed, high, Yud, Mem, it's 86.
I'm not so good at mathematics.
No, it's like that. You can always learn it. It's 86.
It's a calculator.
And Ha Teva is also 86. And Ha Teva also has another word. Ha Teva is looks like drowning. Tibi, Tovi biyamsif, litvoa. It's just like a drowning. What is drowning is? The sea, so there are a lot of ships on the floor of the sea. There are a lot of ships that sank there and just standing there just the same way they went down there, they're still there. That means the teva is hiding the Ein Sof. That means the finite, which is the teva,
the world is finite.
is hiding in the darkness the infinite, that we shouldn't see it. We say by davening, we say by Kiddush, we say, Kodesh Baruch Hu created es hashamayim, es ha'uretz, v'esayom, v'eskol ashabon, which is 3 stages of the creation. First creation was Kodesh Baruch Hu created the shamayim, which that is the darkness. What's that? That's the creation. That's the darkness.
The shamayim is the darkness.
The darkness that separates between the Ein Sof and the Uretz.
Because the empty space like that.
Empty space. Then it comes down to the Uretz. Here you have day and night. But the separation is all choshech. Once Kodesh Baruch Hu created Erev, the boyke Yom Echad, then we can go on to creation. But as long as there was no night, there couldn't be any morning. That means the night that the Kodesh Baruch Hu created was actually a separation between a wall, we'll call it something that should separate between the infinite and the finite. So that's what we say. And what will be l'usid l'uvim Mashiach? What do we have to work on? Es hayom v'eskol hashabon. Just like you look at the ocean and you see everything the same. But once you empty out the ocean, down there's a whole world. The world that we are is covered 2/3 with water. It's only 1/3. That means whatever we recognize today in our finite, we recognize the infinite. So we're just like we're recognizing what's going down deep in the sea and find there all kinds of valuables it's there. I just have to reveal it. So our avodah is to reveal the infinite that is in the finite. Where do I reveal the infinite which is in the finite?
You go fishing?
That's very simple. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu, today is a big trend. People say they want to connect to themselves. בערבית אומרים, אני מתחבר לעצמי. The bullshit Chiddush was to connect to yourself means actually connecting to your source, to connecting to your essence, to connecting what's giving you life. Where is that place in earth that we can connect to the Ein Sof? Is it in the light, or is it in the darkness, or is it the Ein Sof? Only in the darkness. Because to the Ein Sof I cannot connect, because I become infinite, I become also infinite. In the finite light, I think that's light. I don't even think there's something not light. But once a person sees his dark spots, his helplessness, his where he's not matzliach, and then he asks, 1 second, if I'm such a failure, how can I have success? So the person gets all mixed up. Am I a failure or am I a success? So for your dark spots, you have to decide that actually it's the infinite that's giving strength to my finite to have light, but wherever the infinite decided there should be light, there will be light. But you have to leave a space, a dark space of darkness in order that I should see the infinite, but not in an open place. Just like you need a mugen, just like you need sunglass to see the sun, but you cannot look straight at the sun. So because Baruch gives you your failures, only in your failures, only in the places it hurts you. Well, soon we'll get there. Why does it hurt me? There you can actually see menametza, which is actually doesn't let you see anything, but kerusiko, you're able to see. When you put on those sunglasses, you can't see anything. But if you look up to the sun, you can see the sun. That means HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to see the inner part of your finite is infinite. But how can you see that the inner part of your finite is infinite? You can only see it only from a dark sunglass, which is your failures.
And that's the Vayi.
That's called Vayi Erev, Vayi Berika, Yoim Echad. So what is called Ma'ani Boyer, Af'atu Boyer? We started off as the question.
Yeah.
The Busha says, I'm a creator, I want you to be a creator. Boyer means something else. Boyer means creation. But how did I go about the first creation that I did? Was Choshech. And from then I was able to create light. We know Yetzirah, how do you say Yetzirah in English? Also creation? There's all kinds of artists is Yetzirah. A person that wants to create something, he also takes from nothing, he creates something. But not nothing that is infinite. It takes nothing, it takes scrap and makes from it, just like I'm sitting here now, and making from something that we didn't have before, and I'm building you a new understanding. So it can be new understandings, it can be a new painting, it could be a new building, that is called creation. There are all kinds of works in life that a person is not creating anything, but he must do for a hobby, he must do creations in order to keep in order to keep his creation going. Because if he does a work without creating anything, then he loses it. Sitting on a computer is not creating, and Assalamu alaikum. Sitting at the computer is not creating. Sitting at the computer doesn't mean creating. You're going to help me with English today.
Okay.
This is Kumo Natan. Chakum Maila, Loka Natan. This is Shidur. And that means HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm just in the middle explaining what Bush used to say. Ma'ani Boya, Af'atu Boya. I'm a creator, I want you to be also a creator. The Baruch created from an infinite a finite. We don't create from infinite finite, we can make from one finite, another finite, not from an infinite finite. So we explained that it says, Yoitze or Boreh Choshech. Boreh, Anachnu Yodim, we know the Boreh is much higher than Yotzer. So it should be Boreh or, and then Yotzer Choshech. So we're explaining that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in order to create from an infinite, a finite, you have to make a space between the infinite and the finite, because the finite with the infinite, then the finite becomes infinite again. They say a mashal that just like a small fire, just like a small fire. When they say a candle, if you're going to bring it close to a very big furnace, the candle will it'll shut off. Why? Because the light wants to run to the bigger light. So Kadosh Baruch Hu couldn't create that there should be without any parting between the finite and the infinite. There must be a certain separation. What is the separation between the two? That is the choshech. First creation he made was choshech. And that choshech actually separates between our light and his light. Just like I said, when there's eclipse from the sun. So you go out and you put on these dark glasses, so you can't see anything. But if you look up in the sky, you can see the sun. That means you go out to the sky and you look up to the sky and you can see the sun. So the same thing, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you those sunglasses, that choshech, not in order that my helplessness, as we said, we were talking before, that's where we can meet the infinite. That means every time when a person sees his helplessness, it's there just like a sunglass, that in order you should be able to see the sun, the helplessness. You should be able to see the one that is helping you when you are able to do things.
When you think you're able to do.
When you think you're able to do. So in order, that means the Busha called the Toivli ki inesi. I thank you very much for the inui. Why is it an inui? Why is it a suffering? Because I thought I can do everything and suddenly I see I cannot do. Well, that suffering is here, leman elmat, I should be able to learn to live with you, chikechu. Chikechu means without understanding, without feeling, without knowing how it works.
So reaching that understanding means I'm boiling also?
Again?
So
what does boiling mean? Boiler means the darkness. We're using the word boiler, that where is the meeting point between the Ribbono Shel Olam and me. If I was in the airport, there's a meeting point. Everyone, if you're looking for me, I'm looking for you, we'll meet at the meeting point.
At the border.
Not at the border, there's a meeting point. Yeah,
and the darkness is the meeting point?
The dark is the meeting point between us and the Ribbono Shel Olam.
Because it separates between his light and our light.
There must be a separation.
Yeah.
So ma'ani boire, I made a meeting point, which is choshech. Af atu boire, if you want to connect to me, if you'll be ready to connect to your failures, then that is the meeting point. You start asking yourself, am I a failure? Why am I not? Why am I right now not a failure? I didn't know I'm going to say a shiur. I wasn't going to say a shiur. Yeah, I was sure I'm not going to say a shiur. So now I suddenly am saying a shiur. So I can say, yes, for sure, I don't know why I didn't know before. Or I can say just the opposite around. Because Baruch gave me the feeling that I'm not able to say this shiur. So I saw my failure. Then I saw my failure. So anything that's saying now, I'm not saying it, he's saying it.
So the boiler in this sentence is not a boiler as we understand it.
We're using the word boiler for the meeting point that it could be the first meeting point that Kadosh Baruch Hu made between the infinite to the finite is called choshech, boiler choshech. And every time you meet yourself at that meeting point, actually when you come to your dark spot, then you meet the bunch. Not that it's dark, there's nothing there. Just the opposite. It's going to teach you what you thought, that the finite that so you have is light.
Dark, you can see what is there.
Only when you meet your darkness, that's when you start seeing the infinite. And it works also on the feelings of a person. Yeah, there's something called coping. Da ist es, coping mechanism. Coping mechanism בעברית זה נקרא מנגנוני הגנה.
Not defense mechanism?
Defense mechanism, coping mechanism. What is defense mechanism? Every time that a person goes into a stress, so what's his first fight? Flight and freeze. Yeah, you know what that means?
Too well.
Too well. You all know it very well. And that's where Busha came to teach us. We have to learn how to cope with the coping mechanism too. Because sometimes the coping mechanism is destroying us too. It's not manganei hagana, it could be manganei harasa. It's not only its coping mechanism, it's destroying a mechanism. The same coping can be a destroying. So I say we have to build a coping to that coping mechanism. That's actually what Busha did with us. Why? How do you do it? Sometimes you have people, you bring him a very good investment, and it's very good for him, and he can be matzliach in it, but I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? Because 10 years ago when I made a certain investment and people stole from me and took from me and that from me and this, and I went into a fight, flight, freeze. Anytime you're going to talk with me about business, there's nobody to talk to. Either you get me angry, or I'll run away from you, or I just freeze and I don't let you talk.
No.
Ignore. So what do? How do we get through to this person? You can't get through to them. And the Buddha says that's where we lose it. So how do we cope with the coping mechanism? We have to separate the person to come to his essence, to who I am. There are three layers. There's the machshava, there's the dibba, and there's the masa. There's your thoughts, there's your talking, and there is your doing. That means if I did something and I fell through, or I was with somebody and he abused me, or whatever it can be, that I went into a stress, which in order to get away from that stress, I did one of the three that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it into the creation, because that can keep us coping. Otherwise, we're going to get lost. So either you run away, or you fight back, or you freeze. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu created. It's keeping yourself safe. That you shouldn't. Is protecting you. You shouldn't get more damaged.
But is it really protecting you?
It is protecting, but it can be overprotecting too. So how do we see what's not overprotecting? So in maaseh, in practical and technical, we have to watch out what we're doing. But when somebody comes to talk to me about another business venture, I can talk about it. I cannot do it so fast because my coping mechanism is working too hard. But I can talk about it.
So like, let go a bit of the...
Exactly. And let's say I cannot talk with the person that abused me and stole my money, but I find a very nice person that I can trust him, and I've said him, and my friends tell me you can trust him, etc. Even though I have back there the coping mechanism says, everybody does this. But you can talk about it. If you can't talk about it, then that means machshava Bush says, Rabbois machshuvas belev ish. You have to divert your thoughts la'atzas Hashem. Atzas Hashem means that there is nothing in the world that comes to you without a purpose to recognize the Ribbono Shel Olam. That means when somebody hurts me, and I can hate him, or I can say, Kodesh Baruch Hu sent him. What he sent to me, he must have some kind of account with you. Ein dem Zoike Fetzbuem Elamata Leimke Machiz Mu'ulam Elamalo. Canada decided from heaven. We can say for a good reason too, as we said before. The good reason is that have to give you a helplessness to know you shouldn't rely yourself on people. You should rely yourself on the Ribbono Shel Olam. So from now on, you'll see a person, you see the Ribbono Shel Olam in your mind. Sometimes you were over relying on somebody. You gave too much bitochen on a person, so that's why you lost it. So because Baruch has to take away sometimes to show you can't rely on a person, but not that you should hate this person, not that you should run away from this person, not that you should fight this person. Just go. You can go into the freeze, you go into the flight, but in your mind, you don't have to harm yourself. You can build yourself. The Baal Shem Tov calls it Chochmes HaMisken. Misken is when I'm helpless, but there's a certain Chochma mind setting that I can use. Bezuya. Stam bezuya means it's a shameful. So if you ask a poor man what he thinks, it's usually nothing special. Baal Shem Tov says there's nothing much deeper than that. Chochmas HaMisken, a person that is a failure, and you use that failure to your thought, bezu ko, bei zayin vuf yud hey is bezu ko. Then you're able to connect to the infinite. That what you are not misken, what you're not a failure, actually you meet the Ribbono Shel Olam dafka from where you failed.
But can I understand each time that I see?
I don't understand, I believe.
I believe, because I need to understand, I can't
So
understand.
as I understand the mahalach, I understand the procedure of the creation of the world, and there is a meeting point where I can give emunah, but I don't have to go into sinah, I don't have to go into hating, I don't have to go into a negative. That means, Bush explained it just like electricity. Comes into your house in a positive way, but you have to give the negative in order the positive to be able to come in. Every time you see your negativity, your failure, that is the meeting point that you can get now. The positive that is moving here is not negative, it's the positive from the infinite that comes into the finite. But that's believing.
But I can't always understand what at the end.
There's no understanding. There's no understanding. Because you're not here to understand. Your hitachlis hayediyah, says the Rambam, is sheloi neidam. But I have to give you. I give you to understand the process, but not that you should make it now.
Process, I want to understand why could Baruch did it.
That's where you lose it. Because as long as you're not going to come to Bezukah, and you're still busy, 1 second. So actually, Kodesh Baruch is giving you a process. It's giving you a derech, we call it. It's just like, but you have to be spoken the last few times. It's patience, it's avlanut, what we're talking about. But actually what happens is in those minutes, it gives you the chance to cope with your coping mechanism. Don't let your coping mechanism mess you up. Because sometimes sometimes you have a new potential that you could invest. You could go on a trip. People don't go into into elevators. Why? Because he once stayed stuck there. So all his life, he's not going to go into elevators. He's not going to go into a building there's an elevator. He's not going to a street there's an elevator. He's not going to a town that there's an elevator. So that what happens is he's using fight, flight, and freeze, but he's messing up. He's messing up with himself. So we have to start coping with those coping mechanisms. How do you cope with him? First, start going where you feel more secure. Start talking about it. Understand that it came to build your coping mechanism, not the coping mechanism should ruin you. So as long as we know that Kodesh Baruch Hu brought me to helplessness in order that I should meet him, so then we keep on building. From Machshuva we go to Div, and then we go to Mas.
So you build it up again.
That's the way we build it up. So the Rusha says, what he used to say, I have to tell a person 70 times the same thing until it goes into his mind. So we're going for a trip for Shabbos. You're coming?
I'm still,
You don't know.
I want to.
You're coming? You also don't know. Nobody told you about it, but that'll be the easiest way out. That'll be the easiest way out of it. So the trip, we're going for Shabbos for a weekend. We're going for a weekend to the whole Oilam. Today it's a style. Even psychologists do that. They say when they take out the Oilam for a weekend and they give him tipul for a weekend, it works more than a year.
Batch treatment.
It works much more than so. But the difference is what's we're not going to go into the difference right now. But people that I asked them, are you coming? And they tell me no. So I ask him, why not? No, I can't. So I explain them, a person has to, you're right. I understand that you mean money. You don't mean me. You mean, that means there are all kinds of people out there that abused me in the past. Whenever this comes up, I put out my coping mechanism. You, that not. That's you here. That means the person has a certain coping mechanism. If there's something within this Shabbos that I feel there will be an elevator in that place, I'm not coming. Okay, mashal, or people that will be used for money, I'm not coming. Or people, all kinds of things that he had in the past, which when it comes a certain izdamnut, a certain that can elevate him, he'll say right away no. But I understand him because he has it somewhere in the back that this not. But you're going tonight? No. We're going tomorrow? No. We're going on Wednesday also? Thursday? No. Can you use your mind till Thursday? As the Busha says 70 times. Say it again, say it again, say it again. Maybe yes. Maybe yes. Maybe yes. Then you're actually creating, you're easing off your nagdut. You're easing off. You're setting away the machshuva, the dibber, the masa. Then maybe by Thursday, you come and not. You can make it on Friday too, till for Shabbos. So I'm not here to tell you what to do things, because you have enough people out there that are telling you to do things. You don't need me here. All I'm teaching people is to cope with the coping mechanism. You have to. There are people that you can rely on. There's places, elevators that you can rely on. There are business ventures that you can rely on. But if your coping mechanism doesn't let you go any elevator, any business, any trip, anything, then your coping mechanism is overdoing it.
Because you're missing opportunities?
You're missing opportunities. But you're missing opportunities because you're right. Because you're overprotecting yourself. So then, it might not work this time, it's going to work next time. I have no idea. But all that, when the Buddha says, I say my things 70 times, but you should trust me, I think you know me more than a day or two. That even there are people out there that abused you, but you have to teach me how to do it first before I do it. But anyways, I can also lose it. That means anyone that can abuse, so then I find the right people. I build myself in a bit. It's called Gvulot Gizah. It's called where I must, where's the zero tolerance, and where there's 50% tolerance, and where there's 100% tolerance. Person goes on a business trip. It's so easy. It's not so easy. He doesn't have his house, doesn't have his family, doesn't have his food, doesn't have his bed, doesn't have this, doesn't have that. But he's ready for that because he's going to, as you said before, he's going to accomplish something. He has his namnut here. So he doesn't, so his coping mechanism doesn't work. But he doesn't see anything that he's going to accomplish here. So he put, no, I don't have time enough koyach. But if you're not going to stop coping with your coping mechanism, you're never going to get anywhere. That's what the Buddha, now we come back to the story that we started off, yeah? The Buddha calls it akshanut bakivun hamo'il. Akshanut means we're stubborn, but use your stubbornness on the right place, not on something that messes you up even more.
In the right direction.
The right direction. Akshanut bekivun hamo'el. Stubbornness in the right direction. Sometimes we're stubborn, and we need that stubbornness for a right direction, but we're using the stubbornness again in the wrong direction. Or you used to call it atzlus hamachshuva. As atzlus, a person is how do you say atzlus? Lazy. Lazy in doing, lazy in talking, or sometimes even lazy in thinking. He jumps up the fight, flight trees, and he's lazy to work it out. It's called atzlus hamachshuva. So once you don't let the machshuva steal your yeshiva das, rabbis machshuva is belevish, that you right away understand that you have to extinguish that rabbis machshuvas, but not extinguish altogether. That light up the Atzas Hashem is automatically, nobody can do you anything because it's there. Those dark spots are there to change your from finite to infinite. You cannot come from your finite to meet the infinite only from dark spaces. That even the people that you can trust is also don't trust them, trust the Kodesh Baruch Hu that sent them.
So what's the dark spot of this Shabbos?
Right now, I don't know. You have to tell me why you're not coming. So, but when a person says right away no, he's lazy to work it out.
People are afraid to come for Shabbos. They don't know what to expect, what's going to happen.
Who knows?
How much we're going to have to find ourselves. It's too scary.
It's too scary. So that's what we're talking about right now. You're only going to find yourself in the places that you don't find yourself. And then we start doing the comparison. So where I do find myself, it's also not me. So actually, we're uplifting, we're upgrading. Upgrade. When you have an upgrade on your flight last time, you have an upgrade. You get an upgrade on what you have. That's actually going into business. Because when I made Sakurusi Yutke, dafka from the dark space that I connect to the Bezu car, that is merchav, that's upgrading your car, that you're going out of your same airplane, and you have the same, maybe they give it to you, the same frozen food, but they give it to you on instead of plastic, they give it to you on China, but it's all the same thing. That means then you're actually upgrading yourself. So we'll come back and we'll finish off. We have to go down already. we started off with a medrash. We started off with a medrash. The medrash says, Muslim, a king, said to his friend, prepare your house for a feast. I want to come to you. And the king comes, and with all his the people, and he sees he brings along all his precious dishes and everything, all his golden things, the royal ones, and he goes and hides. This friend goes and hides whatever he has at home because he was ashamed. And the Melech says, why did you hide? I said, I'm coming to eat by you. So I saw what you're bringing, so I was ashamed, and I hide it. So we said before, there was two problems here. One problem was, why did the man hide? If the king wants to come with his, let him bring in his, and together with yours, and nothing will go wrong. Number two, if I come into your home with a sandwich, your father's going to kill me. You come into me with a sandwich, I don't have any food here. So actually, so what's going on? But as we're talking now, Rashi says, Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need your light. Your light comes from his light. He needs your light, but he needs your light. Just like the king wants to come to you, even though what you have is from him, but as long as you're ready to accept him with his light, then I can sit by you and you can see my light, and see your light. And even though you're ashamed of it, which that is the helplessness that you have, but the two lights can be here together.
But still, my light is his light. It comes from his light.
Okay, but that's the koach, that's the koach of the creation that you cannot do. But again, every time a person, the Berditchever says, we put on 36 candles by Chanukah here, or whole Yom Tov, first of 1, 2, together 36. The Berditchever also turns on 36 candles up there. But his 36 candles are infinite. Our 36 candles go out. Because Baruch Hu says, Balois Chesanayas, when you're putting on the nairas, you should know that you're turning on my night. You'll be able to see my nairas. Every time you put on those nairas here, you'll be able to see my nairas up there. You'll be able to see my candles up there. Lahagat shvucha shel Ahan shelo yishina. Ahan saw all the nairas from HaKadosh Baruch Hu also when he put on his nairas. So why should he put on his nairas? Why should he put on his candles? Because Baruch Hu says, no, I want, even though you'll be ashamed what you're doing, I want you to do it. So it says, Yu'iri Shiva Sameres. What is Shiva Sameres? It's Yu'iri Shesha Sameres. A mil Pnei HaMenorah, to the center of the menorah, we put on not 7, we put on 6. 3 from one side, 3 from the other side, and the middle one is the 7th. So why does it say Yu'iri Shiva Sameres? But the answer is that we have 6 days a week, which is work days. It's finite days. We come to Shabbos. Our Shabbos is an infinite day. That means there is no finite. There is no mugbal. Everything is set out on the 6 days, and the 7th day there is no work whatsoever. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you, even when you're doing something on Sunday, you should say Hayim Yom Rishon B'Shabbos. Even though I'm doing it down here, something finite, but it comes from the infinite. So then if you're going to do it the first day, the second day, the third day, the fourth, all 6 days will be just like the 7th day. Yu'iri Shiva Samayas. That means you're going to be actually in the same, you'll be able to see your kalim, the plain ones, and you'll be able to also see the Rebbeinu Shalom sees kalim. Questions? No questions today?
Still need to process.
Korach Tzadikim.
Thank you very much.
Really. Thank you.
Mamish, it was very good.
Thank you very much. It's important to hear that.
Recording stopped.
Shabbos?
Really, coming to
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Ja, there's no more nose.
Ah, good. That's schon einer noch schon verstanden.
Let there be light.
All tips, yes, that is. All tips, shalom, shalom.